Welcome to Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio,
My name is Tyler.
and today we are reviewing what happened in a wonderful week 2 of college football. We are also previewing what will happen in a wonderful week 3 of college football. And Tyler, before we even begin anything, and I know I haven't let you talk yet, we got to talk about the Big Ten because we have breaking news at the top of the show. The Big Ten is playing football in the fall, Tyler.
I mean, in every other year, you'd be like, yeah, duh. And now we're like, oh my god.
We're
a
pleasantly
whole other
surprised.
conference decided to actually play football. This is a huge deal.
Welcome to the Resistance.
Yeah,
Big Ten.
Which let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The Big Ten decided today, Wednesday, September 16th, that they will be playing this fall. There were rumors the past couple of days that they were going to make a decision and make an announcement and all of that stuff. Turns out that it happened today. Tyler, let me give you the schedule, okay? 8 games, 4 home games, 4 road games, 6 games in your division, which makes sense because it's 7 teams per division, just like the SEC, and 2 crossover games, right? So there you go, just like a traditional SEC schedule. That's what they're playing.
Yeah.
They're saying that they were going to craft the schedules using the models that they had before the pandemic, but then they're going to eliminate the one crossover game. So, for example, you remember that the Big Ten came out with a 10-game schedule that had an extra crossover game, allowed for, I think, a non-conference game, and then also had a bunch of open dates in order to adjust with coronavirus concerns and all that stuff. Now that it's gone, they're going to be playing 8 games in 8 weeks. So there is no wiggle room for these teams to kind of get some corona relief, I guess you could call it. And it's important to note that there are strict guidelines.
So strict.
Insanely strict. So for one thing, they're going to be doing daily testing, one of those like immediate rapid response, which is excellent. That's fantastic, I believe. And here, I'm going to read a direct quote from this article from ESPN that I've got getting up, Tyler. It says, athletes who test positive for COVID-19 must wait at least 21 days before they can play in a game, and they have to undergo what they're considering to be comprehensive cardiac testing and be cleared by a university-appointed cardiologist before returning. Now, question. I got you. Let me give you one more piece of information that we'll discuss. The Big Ten is also developing what they called a color coding system to determine about a school's need to alter or stop practices or games. Now, the colors are determined by a team's positivity rate, okay, which is considered on a 7-day average. So a green team is a team that tests less than 2% positive, less than 2% positivity rate. They can continue. In orange means that a team must proceed with caution, and that includes a 2 to 5% positivity rate on a 7-day rolling average. And a team with a red color must completely stop practice and competition for at least, keyword being at least, 7 days until their numbers improve. And that red is greater than 5%. So Tyler, 5% of the football team ends up testing positive for coronavirus. That means that the entire team has to shut down for at least a week. That means no practices. That means no games. That means no workouts. Nothing.
So, can I give my thoughts?
A lot to unpack. Yeah, go ahead.
I love it. I would love everything they're doing if it weren't for the fact that it's contradicted by what their schedule looks like.
Correct.
Their schedule is set up. There's no bye week. There are just the 8 games. And there is the contingency that their conference championship weekend, the final weekend, it will actually be the +1 in that, like, number 1 from one division will play number 1 from the other division, and then number 2 player versus number 2, and then number 3 versus number 3. So they'll all play in, like, an order. So that's nice, I guess, but there's no bye weeks. And, like, I'm more okay with I'm obviously okay because I want players to be safe. We've discussed on this podcast at length. They probably no one should be playing football.
100%.
But we live in this world, so
right. We're going to react to the world that we live in and not a world that we hope we have.
Yeah, a 21 days before they can play in a game would have been great if you had given them a bye week maybe 2, like other schools have kind of built into their schedule. The thing that I see as being an issue is the color coding system. You're telling me if a team of 85 players, if 5 of them get coronavirus, that's positive,
and that's more than 5%.
That's more than 5%. You got to shut the whole thing down. It's a little because like Auburn, I believe, already like right now has like 7 players. They're like 7%.
I think us, Florida, we have 6 players right now.
Yeah.
So
that's over 5%. That's over 5%. We wouldn't be able to play our season opener in 2 weeks.
We wouldn't be able to practice.
We would not even be able to practice. So I just don't see. I mean, whatever you can do to play. This does seem all this kind of smells to me like a very last minute decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and who's to say like if the Big Ten was right for postponing the season and then deciding to bring it back, or if the SEC, ACC, and Big 12 have been right in the long run for playing football no matter what.
Well, I think
there's faults and bonuses on both sides in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't like is that the Big Ten, through most of this, has appeared to be kind of very hasty in the decisions it makes.
It feels like every decision they've made, and these 2 big ones being the ones at the forefront, they've been made trying to be reactionary and not trying to be reactive and not proactive. I know that's counterintuitive to the fact that they were the first conference to decide to stop playing, but they did it in a rushed, not well thought out way.
They announced it 2 days after they announced their schedule.
Exactly. Where is the communication amongst the conference?
Greg Sankey, commissioner of the SEC, had a great quote. Like when that happened, he's like, "I'd be interested to see what they think has changed in the last 2 days."
Right.
I'm not saying it was the wrong decision to make. That's not even a question that even if we think we could answer, that we really could answer now.
But Tyler, I would go out on a limb and say I personally think it was the wrong decision to do. I'm not saying canceling is the wrong decision.
To act so hasty, yes.
Exactly. Yeah, the way that they went about it was wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I'll agree with that because this has been one of the big things that I've had with the NFL and with college football is that they were the 2 sports that had the absolute most time to make a plan for what they were considering doing regarding coronavirus and the fall season. And at a lot of angles, a lot of the sports didn't really do anything about it. Like, didn't seem to do anything, and then they've continued to act hastily, the Big Ten chief among them. I think I would like all these guidelines if they had built their schedule around it, but I know that they built a short schedule with no bye week just so that they can compete for the college football playoff.
Right.
But if Ohio State, the only really college football playoff, the team that is probably the best chance to win the national championship in the Big Ten, if they get 5 players active, they're out. They basically can't practice for half the schedule, so they're 4-0. If a 4-0 Ohio State team is not going to make it into the college football playoff.
A 4-0 Ohio State.
If it did, I would be irate. I would be irate.
Yeah, you can't tell me that an 8-2 SEC team, or even a 7-3, an 8-2 ACC.
I would take an AAC team over a 4-0 Ohio State.
I don't even think that's that.
It's not a hot take.
That's not even a hot take.
I want to put that out there. That's like I draw the line.
I think
can't play 4 games.
I agree.
When everyone else is playing it, and it's. I only say like again, just kind of my general thoughts on the argument is that I would love all of this if they structured their schedule around these guidelines. They just structured their schedule around trying to make the college football playoff.
Yeah.
They said, well, now we're just going to make the margin of error to make this super razor thin.
Like, it's trying to thread a needle while surfing a 20-foot wave. It's just so difficult. Like I will bet an insane amount of money, allegedly, that all of their teams will not play a full schedule. We're going to have multiple teams playing. And not even just like 7 of the 8 games. I'm talking 4 or 5 games. Like, we're not going to get much college football out of the Big Ten this year. So I really wouldn't kind of get your hopes up. And does it really make sense? Like, for these players to go out there and say, okay, we're going to play 4 games. We're going to call it a full season. And then we're going to try to get in the playoff. But then we're not going to be as conditioned as the other team. Like, what are the positives?
They're starting in a little bit more than a month. And these players haven't practiced at all.
Yeah,
it's hasty decision making.
Hasty
decision making. I don't agree with, but
exactly.
It's not decisions that they made. It's how they've made them that has been a little.
Correct. So,
but I digress.
But we digress.
But we get more football, so net positive for us watching.
I'm still gonna watch the games.
Oh, absolutely!
I'm still gonna watch the games. You know what they need to do? First game of the week. First game week for them needs to be Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Second week needs to be Michigan State, Michigan. We need all of these big rivalry games that we care about out of the way at the beginning. Because
out the gate, because there's no guarantee any of them will get played.
No guaranteed at all, exactly. With you 100%. Okay, all right, Tyler. So that's it on the new Big Ten news. Let's go ahead and jump into our episode. We're going to go ahead and recap Week 2. Again, we have 5 wide and 2 points, where Tyler and I pick the outcome of 5 games that we believe to be the 5 most entertaining, I guess, games of the season of the week.
Compelling, whatever you
want to call it. And then we each pick an extra game for our 2-point conversion, which you get 2 points if you get it right, get 0 if you lose. So let's go ahead and start us off. Tyler, first 5 wide of the year. Last week we had UAB taking on Miami on Thursday night. Miami ends up winning 31-14, but not after a first half scare, because the offense wasn't looking too good. And
Miami has built their entire offense around De'Aaron King scrambling, which can win you games against UAB eventually, because you have better athletes. But
you're going to wear them down eventually.
I'm not very high on Miami for this. I watched a lot of this game, and De'Aaron King, it just did not impress me.
Tyler, it looked like last year's offense where you just didn't know what it was doing. Except now they have an above-average quarterback who can make things happen with his legs. So he just bailed them out.
That's
it. I don't know how you can look at this Miami team from last year to this year and say, oh yeah, there's been a change. Nothing has changed. The only difference is that
the quarterbacks can run now.
The quarterbacks can run, exactly. That's it.
It's literally, they're just pretending to call plays, and then it's really just we'll pretend to believe that this play is going to work, but we just know that Derek's just going to be I'm just going to scramble.
They run one play.
And it works against UAB, but that's not going to work in the future.
They run one play, Tyler, and it's the De'Aaron King special. And that's it. De'Aaron King special on 3. Ready, break. That's it. That's all they do. So we both ended up picking Miami because at the end of the day, their athletes are better.
It's
bigger, faster.
We joke, but that strategy can win you games against lower conference opponents.
Exactly. So we both pick them. We both get the point on that one. Next game, we got Louisiana heading into Ames, Iowa, taking on Iowa State and beating them 31-14, Tyler. We both picked Iowa State. Neither one of us get the points. Tyler, I need you to explain what happened to your prodigal son. What happened to the Brock star?
Don't worry, Brock Purdy. I still love you. But it was a holistic dismantling of Iowa State by Louisiana. Now, important to note, Brock Purdy was already losing some of his pass catchers, and then his best receiving weapon, Charlie Kohler, didn't play, and they only found out about that right before the game started. So, a little different, but Iowa State was... I watched this game, and let me tell you, Iowa State's offensive line is basura. It is hot trash. It is not good. They're not going to win a lot of games with that offensive line playing that way.
And it's such a shame because Brock Purdy deserves better.
And he's able to scramble to a lot, but it's really hard to facet a passing offense when you cannot stand in the pocket and throw. And an important thing to note, Louisiana and they went out and played man. And not a lot of teams in the Big 12 play man. They mostly play zone. So they threw something at Iowa State that they don't normally see. And again, I feel like that would have been fine if it weren't for the fact that man is a lot easier to use where the way I understand it is that man coverage works. The only problem is that it is way more susceptible to being blown if you can't get the quarterback.
Right.
if the quarterback can stand there in the pocket, eventually someone's going to get open because there's only one person on each man.
Right.
In zone, you're watching the quarterback's eyes, so it's a little easier to kind of keep that in focus. However, just naturally, you're more prone to blowing coverages.
Right.
But when the best defense, the Jaguars' one good season in my lifetime is built off this premise, where it was that if you can rush the passer and play good man coverage, it's really hard for anyone to score.
That's the Brian Flores package in Miami.
Yeah,
that's what he likes to run. He likes to put stud cornerbacks out there, put them on an island, play man to man, and then he wants big pass rushers that can force the quarterback to get rid of the ball quickly.
Yeah, it's not a perfect strategy because no defense is a perfect strategy, but
Correct.
It is extremely hard to beat. And Louisiana was able to put that on Iowa State, who was disadvantaged by the fact that their offensive line was not good. On top of having to replace people, they already had an injured starter. So
exactly.
I mean, it really is going to be. You can't tell with this new season. I'm kind of pumping a lot of what we're going to talk about as a whole into this, in the sense of like, with this type of season, it's hard. It's going to be hard to tell whether or not this is a isolated incident because of practice or whatever. And Louisiana's a good team. I don't want to take that away. Billy Napier is a good coach. But if this persists, that's not going to be good for Iowa State or Matt Campbell or Brock Purdy's draft stock, which, I mean...
unfortunate, but a reality.
Makes me sad, but a reality.
I also think it's important to note, I like in soccer coverage, Alexi Lalas is an American soccer pundit. He used to play. His big thing is set pieces. Like, you need to make sure that you are scoring on opportunities when the ball has stopped and you can plan around it, especially in a game like soccer. And if you're defending them, you need to make sure that you know exactly what's happening and you need to defend them. Corner kicks, free kicks, set pieces. I'm going to put on my Alexi Lalas hat and say special teams. Special teams, special teams, special teams.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to control special teams. Louisiana did it excellently. Took a kick return back for a touchdown. Took a punt back for a touchdown. 14-point swing. Kills the momentum. It keeps you in the game, and then it ends up winning you the game in part. Like you said, the Iowa State offensive line isn't good. So there's that. Just like that, you gotta be effective. And at Iowa State, you can't let someone take a kickback and a punt back. It's just not something you can do.
No.
Gotta control what you can control.
Control your controllables.
Exactly.
And
so
that's
unfortunately
disappointing.
Very. We did not get any points. Oh, here we go.
This next game was not disappointing at all.
Yeah. Tyler?
The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets went down into
the who?
The Waffle House University
Yellow Jackets. Bees. Oh my god.
The Waffle House University Bees went down into Doak Campbell Stadium, where the Florida State Seminoles, proud winners of their last three, proud losers of their last three, now four home openers. The Bees came in and took FSU down, which was a crazy upset for everyone except for me, who called it.
And I would like some credit for my Saturday morning text message, Tyler.
That you disregarded your pick, and
and allegedly
of all the games for you to pick against, this is the perfect one to be like, now I'm throwing my point.
Oh yeah, I said, you know what? I'll take the L.
On Saturday morning, you're like, nah, I'm going Bees. Allegedly,
I decided to stick behind our Waffle House University Bees and back Jeff Collins as Georgia Tech ends up beating FSU 16-13. Tyler, so many things with this game. There was a lightning delay. There were 2 blocked kicks by Florida State.
Which means it could have been worse.
Which means it should have been worse.
It should have been worse.
By
the way, the Bees won 16-13. I know we didn't say the score.
Correct. And shame on every single Florida State fan in attendance, because none of you were wearing masks. None of you were distancing yourself socially. It's a damn shame. Yeah, just want to point that out. Shame on you guys.
And you were rewarded promptly.
You were rewarded promptly with yet another riveting James Blackman performance.
Four straight losses. By the way, James Blackman is still terrible. I feel really bad.
I was gonna say I want to go here. I feel bad for James Blackman because he never realized his full potential. This was a 4-star quarterback from the state of Florida, highly sought after recruit. He was supposed to be the DeAndre Francois replacement. He was supposed to, well, he ended up being that, but he was supposed to be better than what he has now. It's not his fault that he is on his 3rd coaching staff in his 4 years at Florida State. It's not his fault that he doesn't play with an offensive line. They only bring out 6 players on offense, Tyler. I don't know if you knew that. There's actually no players that line up on the offensive line because if they did that...
Which makes sense how they struggle against a Georgia Tech defense that was running the triple option 2 years ago.
That was defending...
Wonderfully schemed and coached, but there's not a lot of talent on that defense.
Correct. Like, it's not his fault. With all that being said...
I'm going to push back on that real quick.
Oh, no, wait. With all that being said...
Okay, go ahead.
He's pretty bad.
He's bad, though. Look, I hear what you're saying, but at some point, when you go through 3 different offensive coaches, and you don't show any signs of improvement or progress with any of them...
What's even worse is you don't even go to the weight room. This man, you don't need a coach to go to the weight room.
Freshman looking like this, you're all like, "Oh, that's weird." I'm like, "Yeah, but he's a true freshman." Like, okay, whatever.
And remember, he
looks exactly the same.
And he was thrown into that first game against Alabama where DeAndre Francois hurt himself and he was out for the season. Like, we both were like, "Oh my God, this Florida State season is going to be ugly." But they can bounce back. This is going to be a rough year. Unexpected No, it all went downhill from there.
But I will say this about FSU. As a team, they looked better. They looked better than they did in any point in the Willie Taggart era.
Right.
They are still very bad.
Right.
But they looked better. I'll just about Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech
night and day, bro.
Better coached.
Night and day.
They look years. This is not the proper metric terminology for this, but years faster. Whatever. But they look so much faster, so much more athletic.
They're so ahead of schedule.
On offense, they were like moving the ball. And Jeff Sims, a true freshman quarterback that FSU didn't want,
was committed to Florida State at one point. Love to point that out.
Scholarship. Yeah, they pulled the scholarship.
Yeah,
and he went to Georgia Tech and beat them. And I think he'll eventually be a much better quarterback. And he's still rough, but you're moving the ball. There was good offense.
And he's a true freshman.
It's Jeff Collins. The defensive scheme is there, and the players play hard. But there's not a lot of talent on this team still. But they're so ahead of schedule.
Yeah. And it's great to see because when you're overhauling an entire... It's not even a system, Tyler. It's a philosophy.
It's a mentality.
It's a mentality.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
The triple option is a way of life now.
They used to go to IHOP. Now they go to Waffle House. Like, when you make those changes for the better...
Sir.
When you make those changes for the better, you go from pancakes to waffles. My guy. There's got to be results. But it is... We cannot say it enough how difficult it is to go from a triple option system to a more fast-paced, modern college football system, which is what Jeff Collins is implementing. So shout out to them. Hats off to Waffle House, to the Bees. Hats off to our Bees, Tyler. I think we are looking better and better with each week that goes by of our pick last year to adopt them as our official ACC team. So we are very excited for that. I will gladly take the see the defeat. I said this last week. I said I'm going to pick FSU, but I wouldn't be mad if I lost this one. And I think I allegedly took them at plus 12.5 points on Saturday morning. And I was with Alexa. We were in Newport, Rhode Island. And she said, Sergio, you have 30 seconds to talk about gambling, and then you are done for the day. And I think I spent 20 of those seconds talking about how I am so confident that this 12.5 is going to cover. Allegedly, of course. So, yeah. Tyler gets the point there. I do not. Let's move on to what I feel like we do this every week, Tyler. We don't have to talk about Clemson. They're good. Their opponents are not. Clemson 37, Wake Forest 13.
Trevor Lawrence looks even better.
It was funny because I didn't watch college football regularly. We did stop for food and stuff or to charge phones and whatever during our little touristy day. And I would fire up my Hulu app and because, I have Hulu with live sports. Did you know Hulu has live sports?
We're not being paid to say this.
You're not getting... Oh, shoot. Okay, we'll talk about that later. So
I have words for you now.
I'm kidding. So I pulled up Hulu and I was watching some games here and there. And the things that I was watching, it was very sloppy. It was very like first, second week of the season sloppy. Then I turned on the Clemson game at night, and oh boy, was this a factory just spitting stuff out and going through it, man.
They're moving the ball up and down the field.
Yeah, there's no concern that they're the number one team in the country. It's pretty easy.
I like my professional team's quarterback, and I think you do too. But I just look at him, and I look at the hair.
I'm not gonna lie. I find myself taking a look here and there. I'm
just like, ugh, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
The Dolphins have the Texans number one overall. Texans blow it up.
Deshaun Watson is not going to take a team to the number one overall pick,
but he could take them to like the number 4.
I don't know.
And then
I have the Rams pick. I feel way more confident.
And then Tyler, you know what we have? We have the assets.
Okay, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars have the assets and a win, Sergio. We're moving on.
We both got the point. We both picked Clemson. The next game that we picked, Western Kentucky and Louisville. We both ended up picking Louisville, and it paid off for us. Louisville beat them 35-21. So this game was on ACC Network a couple of times earlier this week, and there were moments when I sat down and I was doing work, and I kind of put the game on in the background just to kind of watch a few plays. Scott Satterfield has the offense moving relatively at the same pace that they were last year, which is very difficult because, again, second year in a program, the system is being installed. It's not as drastic of a change as the triple option.
Less practices this year.
Less practices, no spring ball.
No Mekhi
Becton. So there's these things that are adding up, and they were pushed around a bit at the beginning. Western Kentucky gave them a fight, but just like the Miami UAB game, at the end of the day, the team with the better talent, faster athletes, stronger athletes, bigger athletes, they're going to prevail. And that's pretty much what happened. Louisville pulls away late. But it looked very interesting. It was definitely an improvement, and I can see them developing upon this.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch Louisville going forward. Their offense is fun to watch. It's very fun to watch.
Agreed. We both picked Louisville, therefore we both get the points. On to our 2-point conversion. I was dumb.
You let your heart rule over your head.
I let my heart rule over my head, especially when I realized that they lost to Coastal Carolina last year. Kansas lost to Coastal Carolina last year. Yeah. So I don't know why I expected things to change.
If it makes you feel better, it was a much more higher scoring game this year.
Yeah.
And I watched some of it, and when Kansas made the switch to a different quarterback, things started happening for them.
They did.
It was way too late at that point.
I'm going to be honest with you.
That is not an excuse to lose to Coastal Carolina.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see that happen because I was so exhausted from my long day in Rhode Island that I texted you. I said, Tyler, I unpacked the car. I just took a shower. I'm ready to watch these games. I'm going to send you some highlights because you were updating me all day. I'm going to return the favor. And I ended up watching
I didn't get a single text from you for the rest
Tyler,
of the night.
I ended up watching about 15 minutes, and I could not stand watching it that I ended up falling asleep. I woke up at 2 in the morning with the TV with like the dog commercial. I woke up at 2 in the morning and I was like, oh, I definitely slept through this Kansas, what I thought was a blowout at the time. I definitely slept through this Kansas blowout. Oh, well.
Woe is me.
Woe is me. I guess I'll sleep.
I didn't watch Kansas lose.
So, I do hope we get more Big 12 after dark. I just hope that it's like, I want to see like TCU Baylor. I want to see like Iowa State Oklahoma State. Like I want to see those games at night.
Maybe not a TCU game because they don't have any quarterbacks. But
yeah, very true. Very true.
Some schools still thought that'd be more fun. Anyway,
so I don't get any points on that one. Tyler, your 2-point conversion. You did it, my friend. Tulane 27, South Alabama 24. You get both of those points.
Never doubt the uniforms.
Never doubt the drip.
The inevitable.
The triple D, Tyler.
The inevitable green wave.
Don't triple D. Don't doubt the drip. We got this, buddy.
Don't doubt the drip. Tulane wins over South Alabama. This was a good game.
Mm-hmm. So I saw that. I did go back and watch the highlights of this game because it looked interesting.
Tulane's defense needs to get it together, but because
Tyler, you're putting it extremely. You're putting it extremely nice. Like you're really being generous with the whole. They just need to be better.
To tighten up, as my father would say. Please.
Oh man.
South Alabama was an improved team, but come on.
Yeah, no.
I mean, their offense, Tulane's offense is fine, but they're a good Sun Belt team. But get your defense. Yeah, you're allowed to be sloppy first week of this really weird asterisk season.
Correct.
Come on.
Correct. So, Tyler, that brings our score to Tyler 6, Sergio 3. Man, I started off.
Am I double your score?
Tyler, I didn't have any spring practice. We're voting.
I'm going the same pick as you every single step of the way for the rest of the year.
Now that just puts all the pressure. That puts all the pressure on my 2 points.
Yeah. It's those types of games where neither team can stop the other's offense. The only problem is that one team got one more touchdown early and got one pick, so they're perennially one touchdown ahead.
Exactly.
That's my strategy. It will not work out, but that is my strategy.
This is I think it was the Oklahoma-Alabama game, the Kyler Murray year.
Absolutely.
Where it was 14-0, and then they just went touchdown for touchdown, but Oklahoma could never close that gap.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Tyler, those are all the games from week 2. Let's move forward to week 3. Before we get into 5-wide and 2-point, I just want to once again point out all the postponements that we have. We're going to pour one out for each of these games. Tyler, let's pour one out for Central Arkansas and Arkansas State. I do not know anything if this is a rivalry or not. I hope it is.
It's another chance for Jonathan Adams Jr. to ball out.
Correct.
The Arkansas State beaters of Kansas State.
For the record, beaters of Kansas State. When they were missing 11 players due to COVID. Just wanted to point that out.
They still won.
Tyler, I want to pour one out for BYU Army. We were supposed to get a really good game.
I imagine it would be better than BYU Navy was, but
that was more of a glorified scrimmage. But
yeah,
sure. Tyler, I want to pour one out for Virginia Tech. A lauded rivalry game, a fantastic historic game. Last year went into overtime. Would have been
such a good early game.
Would have been a fantastic early game. This screams 4:00 kickoff to me. This screams 7:00 kickoff secondary screen that ends up being more fun than the ABC game. That's what this screams to me, man. Pour one out for them. And then Tyler, I want to pour one out for Houston and Memphis. A fantastic American clash that we were supposed to get. Two teams with their eyes on the American Championship and possibly a group of 5
playoff
spot
berth.
And possibly playoff berth. This was 2 teams that were destined to do that. So that were looking to do that. So pour one out for those. Tyler, let's stay in Texas and Houston, because they couldn't play Memphis.
There it is. There's the transition.
They said we'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. They're heading to Waco. They're going to do some home improvements, and they're going to go in and play Baylor. 12 o'clock. Thanks for understanding the reference. My girlfriend will be so proud of me. Houston is playing Baylor. 12 o'clock. Big Fox. Tyler, Fox finally has a big noon kickoff game.
A real big noon kickoff game.
A real one. Not like...
Yeah.
Yeah, but... Yay.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, Houston, Baylor. Tyler, who you got? Or no, am I going first?
I don't remember.
I go first.
Yeah, I go first for 2-point conversion this week, so you go first for 5-wide.
Perfect. This is a tough game to pick because neither team has played. This is the first game of the season for both teams. Both teams were supposed to have played a game already. Baylor was supposed to play TCU, I believe, last week. And then Houston was supposed to play Memphis this week, and they're supposed to play last week somebody else. I don't know. It's tough. I think I'm going to have to go. This is tough because Baylor has a new head coach, but he is a defensive coordinator. Dana Holgersman. I can't speak today.
What is wrong with you? You lived in West Virginia.
That I did. That I did, good sir.
Whoa.
I think I'm going to take Houston.
Really?
I think I'm going to take Houston. Yeah, I know this might not. This is 100% going to come to bite me in the butt. But I think I'm going to take Houston, Tyler, and I think I'm going to take them because I'm very interested to see. You know what? No, I'm going to take Baylor.
Whoa. Okay,
because
right.
I'm going to take Baylor because what I was going to say was I'm very interested to see how the DeAndre King replacement strategy, De'Aaron King replacement strategy comes in. I know that they played last year without him for most of the season, but I don't know if you remember watching those games, but they were pretty bad.
They were pretty bad.
Like pretty bad. Baylor is coming off a very successful season. Matt Rule has gone to the Carolina Panthers, and he has done everyone in college football, especially in the SEC, a favor and taken Joe Brady with him. But that roster is still primarily there. I am concerned about some of the X-factor players on that Baylor offense. I don't really know who they have. They did graduate a couple of players, a couple of wide receivers. Mims is gone. So it is going to be interesting to see how they replace that efficiency. But
Tyquan Thornton's still there. So
exactly. So I think I'm going to go Baylor. I don't know what I was doing with that Houston pick.
I'm going to go Baylor as well because like it looked like for the last couple of weeks it's like don't sleep on upsets because they're very possible.
Correct.
In this time. However, that was from Louisiana and Arkansas State, to at least in the Big 12, who were two teams that were very good last year.
Right.
Houston was not.
No.
So I'm going to go Baylor as well.
Yeah, and I'm not going to play the whole Houston was in the American, so they're better than the Sun Belt teams.
No, they were bad.
No, they were bad. They were bad.
That argument can hold weight. It doesn't hold weight for this.
There's a reason De'Aaron King played his 4 games and said, yeah, I'm a head out. So,
Deuces.
There you go. Deuces. Next game.
Next up.
Boston College. I hate this.
I'll say
this is what we call late night podcasting, ladies and gentlemen.
Boston College at Duke, noon, ESPN 3 for all you
ESPN
out there.
Tres.
I'm gonna go with we've seen Duke play.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Duke play Notre Dame, where they actually held their own.
They did
pretty well.
They did. And the offense looked pretty good.
We could choose to be lesser people and just say that's because Notre Dame sucks, but I think it's because Duke actually did. They showed some promise. I like Chase Bryce coming over from Clemson. He looked good.
Mm-hmm.
The offense did look good, and we have not seen Boston College at all. They're breaking in a new coach, Jeff Hafley, after firing Steve Addazio.
Mm-hmm.
Perennial 7-6 Steve Addazio.
7-6 king.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Duke.
Tyler,
yes.
Have I told you? You mentioned Notre Dame. I just don't want to forget it. Have I told you my Notre Dame theory for the season?
Oh no! Lay it on me.
I have a
slut for Notre Dame theories.
Every ACC team will play above their level when they play Notre Dame for the good of the conference. They will go out of their way.
I love this.
They will go every ACC game. Notre Dame is going to be like, wow, when we played these teams, not an official member of the conference, they were so much easier. Why is it so much more difficult? It's like the whole, it's like in soccer, they say that the Premier League is just a tougher league. It's a more physical league. It's a faster, there's more games, like that kind of stuff. I feel like every other ACC team is going to be like, oh, you only want to join for this year? Oh, okay, we're going to show you how we play football in the ACC. And they are going to battle Notre Dame teams. So with that being said, I'm also going to take Duke because I do believe that offense is much improved. I do believe that Chase Bryce is going to be actually taking some steps. People forget that he kept Clemson's season alive.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good quarterback.
And if you watch, he can play.
Right. And now, granted, the Duke offensive
he's not gonna light up NFL draft boards or anything.
Exactly.
But he is a good college quarterback.
He's one of my favorite players to watch in college football. Not him specifically, but that type of player. That type of player that is not going to be a highly touted NFL prospect. But by God, are they fun to watch in college. And that's Chase Bryce.
Best type of player.
Now, he doesn't have the offensive line that he had at Clemson, but then again, there's a handful of schools in the country that have that offensive line. And yeah, I just think Duke is on a better trajectory. I have no idea what this Boston College team looks like. They didn't have practice. They didn't have spring practices. They have a brand new coach. Who knows?
I used to be able to rely on what I thought about Boston College with Steve Adazio, and
because
now
we knew what type of game he was playing.
Without even knowing the names, you knew exactly what type of team you were getting.
I didn't need to know the roster. I knew what system he ran. He liked to run the ball down your throat, get the ball out of the backfield quickly, and try to win you an old school football game.
Yeah, and we don't even know what the deal is with that anymore. So
exactly,
be fun to see.
Yep, smart pick from us.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got number 14 UCF at Georgia Tech at 3:30 on
Where
ABC. Are they? At the Waffle House University Mecca itself, at the Beehive.
Tyler, well done, Tyler, well done. Oh, I was hoping you'd come up with something good. I was so hoping. Wow, we need to talk to Georgia Tech. We need to facilitate this
Georgia
rebrand.
Tech sponsored podcast.
We really do. We really do.
Hey! There's no offer that we won't at least entertain. Georgia Tech.
Of course not, Georgia Tech. Of course not.
Yeah, no. At the Beehive itself, UCF is going up to face the 1-0 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, also known as the Waffle House University Bees, at 3:30 on ABC. I go first.
No, you don't.
You went
first.
You're right. I don't go first.
I
first. Really wanted to, though.
Tyler, this might be one of the most entertaining games of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
Because UCF is bringing back Dylan Gabriel. We know Josh Heupel. We know the offense he likes to run. They've lost a couple of star players. They lost Killins. They lost a bunch of their weapons. Davis. They lost their weapons. But the great part of being a Florida school is that you can recruit weapons like that anywhere. There's so much talent that a 3-star in Florida could be considered a 4-star somewhere else. Like they have speed. They have those players. What we talked about Georgia Tech earlier. They are improving. They are definitely vastly improved from last season, and they also have a footprint recruiting in Florida as well. And Georgia's not that bad not too shabby a recruiting state either.
Worse than having a university in Atlanta.
Exactly. And actual Atlanta, not like 2 hours out like Athens. Subtle shot to Georgia, but whatever. Be nice to know who their quarterback is.
Really not subtle at all. But.
No. John, Tyler, why does the St. John River flow north?
Because Georgia sucks.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, my bad. I always forget. With all that being said, I, like many men in happy relationships, realize what the smart decision to do is. And the smart decision in this case is to make sure that when I'm watching this football game with my girlfriend, I will be with her this weekend, and we are watching this game together, it's to make sure that I'm cheering for the same team that she's cheering for. So therefore, I'm going to go with the UCF Golden Knights. The 14th ranked, which is very high, but the 14th ranked UCF Golden Knights. I like Dylan Gabriel. I've been telling you this for all last year. I like him as a quarterback. Josh Heupel's system is fun. The question is, can the defense hold up? Now, they are bringing back one of the best defenses in the American, but can that defense stay healthy and energized and kind of not check out throughout all 4 quarters? Because remember, the game is in Atlanta. It's at the Beehive. So we have to see.
Beehive, yeah. Well, that is certainly a very smart pick for multiple reasons.
Beyond football.
Yes. But while you may be shackled by the confines of a very wonderful and loving relationship that you treasure very much, I am not such shackled by such confines. I am, however, shackled by another type of confine. And you know what that is, Sergio?
What is it, Tyler?
It's the shackles of the brand. I'm going with Waffle House University Bees for no other reason than I picked them last week and it paid off.
So that's my question too. Am I like, should I pick against them every week because I'd like to see them win? Should I? Oh, Tyler, hold on. Put your hood on. Conspiracy.
All right. Yep. Nope.
Conspiracy hood on. If I bet allegedly on Georgia Tech every single week, Will they go undefeated?
There's only one way to find out.
Tyler, I may or may not be maintaining that.
Allegedly.
All right, so Tyler picks Georgia Tech. I pick UCF. That's
now,
a 3.
Real talk, real analysis. This is gonna be an uphill climb.
Yeah. Yeah.
UCF is good.
UCF is potential. It is not out of the realm of possibility that UCF makes a playoff as the 4th team.
Yeah.
Because of what the season we're in and the teams playing.
What season is, yeah.
Like we talked about earlier with personally, if we have a 10-0, 11-0 UCF team and a 4-0 Ohio State team, I'm going to put the UCF team in.
I'm putting UCF in.
They played a full schedule. So
I agree, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'll take the Bees. I'm not expecting high. I'm not really. Real talk. I do think that UCF will likely win this game, but there is a chance.
Okay, and so you are putting your point on the line for that chance. Yeah. I respect it. Next up, Tyler. 2 teams that I never expected to see in the CBS 3:30 slot. That's the number 23 ranked.
This year is so weird.
It's so weird. Number 23 ranked Appalachian State What are they? The Mountaineers? What are they? The
Mountaineers.
Mountaineers. Yes. Going up against Marshall, 3:30 on CBS. Tyler, the biggest question of the day: will they play the dun 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 dun?
They freaking better. Like,
are we getting Gary Danielson? Like, what are we getting here?
You guys can't see this, but my mouth just
what are we getting here, Tyler? I don't know what to expect from a broadcast standpoint. And it's not like I'm going to watch the game because we're going to be watching UCF Georgia Tech. That's the best game in that slot.
Hey! You got to have your score updates up on your phone.
Of course, I need a second screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so, I hope we get Brad and Gary Danielson.
Yeah.
Because that would make me so happy.
Very happy.
But in my analysis of this, if we're going to put it in the 3:30 CBS slot, that means this is a default de facto SEC game. And that means I got to take the Alabama of the Sun Belt, and I'm taking App State.
Very.
See where I was going? You see where
very well
done. Yeah.
Very well done. Yes, golf clap for that one, my friend.
Thank you. Well also makes sense because it's CBS.
Exactly. The Masters.
Okay.
Georgia. That was my favorite Masters promo. When they decided to just put Georgia on my mind, I was like, yes, that's it. Because there was that one year where they just played the bird sounds, and then Brad Nestor
literally nothing but just the course,
and then Brad Nestor just went, the Masters. That's it. That's all he said. I was like, 45 seconds of grass and birds chirping. That's a horrible advertising.
I mean, yeah, no.
Anyway.
It's like every person I know who likes golf is like, oh my god, it's so good. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, sorry. My promos include, Gator
hitting each other.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm not overthinking this. It's App State. I'm taking them with you, dude. Yeah, it's not hard.
Marshall's got a chance, but
Marshall's a good football team. Marshall's a football team that, as an FAU supporter, they are competitive every single year in their conference, but App State is on another planet right now. Consistently ranked in the top 25. Very good football team. I'm going App State.
Okay, nice.
What's the last game, Tyler?
Last game is number 17 Miami at number 18 Louisville at 7:30 on ABC.
We are getting Herbie and Fowler on this game, I believe.
I believe so.
Okay.
Is this our first ranked matchup of the season?
I think it might be. I think it is. I think this is.
I don't recall having one last week.
I'm going to make it really easy for you, Tyler. We talked about both of these teams reviewing games, and we don't need to talk about it again. I'm going Louisville.
We already provided our analysis for this game.
Yeah, I'm going Louisville.
I'm going with Louisville as well. I'm not going to overthink this.
You mean to tell me that the options are Scott Satterfield or Manny Diaz?
Whatever's going on.
Or whatever's going on in Coral Gable. Whatever the situation may be.
Whatever they want to call that offense.
Oh my gosh. It's like buying a high-end car when you only make like $40,000 a year. Like, you have no business having these 5-star prospects because you're wasting their talent.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many Gregory Thoreaus that people are like, oh, okay, he's on a really bad team, but still a top 5 prospect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I'm just saying, if Notre Dame, putting the Notre Dame thing back in action, if Notre Dame wins this conference this year by some miracle, what do you do if you're a Canes fan? You came into this conference being like the ACC, the All Canes Conference, and have not won it once, and Notre Dame comes in and wins it one time. Okay, no, I want this to happen.
I want it to happen as well. And the only time they made it to the title game was that game against Clemson. They lost like 56-0. I distinctly remember watching the first play of that game. The Clemson defensive line blew up Miami's offensive line, and I went, oh, this game's over. Like, wow, I don't have to watch this. Next.
I remember that so vividly because I remember you always talking about it, and he also, I think it was your dad or was it Raul?
It was Raul. It was Raul.
Raul was just like, what do you mean? We're only 4 plays in. He's like, what? Are you watching what I'm watching? Like,
I think I texted you too. I was like, the game's over.
And I love on that broadcast, Kirk Herbstreit literally even says like, yeah, I'm watching the Ohio State game right now. Like,
Kirk Herbstreit was like, I have the game on here. Like, not even the broadcast. Anyway.
No.
What a wonderful time when Florida State and Miami are just not doing well. And Georgia can't decide who's playing quarterback. What a time to be a Gator. Oh, man. All right, Tyler, to recap the 5-wide. Houston, Baylor, we both took Baylor. That's 12 o'clock on Fox. Boston College, Duke, we both took Duke. It's 12 o'clock on ESPN 3. UCF, Georgia Tech, that's a 3:30 ABC kickoff. I took UCF. You took our Waffle House University Bees. Next up, we have App State and Marshall. We both took App State. That's a 3:30 CBS kickoff. And then we have Miami and Louisville in our first ranked matchup of the season, 7:30 on ABC. We both took Louisville. Tyler, 2-point conversion. My friend, what is your 2-point conversion?
It's tough because a lot of these games might appear a little one-sided. And we don't like to be like, oh, I'm going to take Clemson to beat the Citadel.
Yeah, it's not just a way to get points. It's a way to pick an interesting
game. Niche pick. It's to show your college football knowledge.
Exactly.
Something I mastered with 1 week. I am going to take in a kind of out of the way ACC game between one team we've seen and another we haven't. I'm going to take the Wake Forest Demon Deacons at the NC State Wolfpack. I'm going to take Wake Forest to bounce back from their Clemson loss and Sam Hartman give them a little razzle-dazzle and get a win for the Demon Deacons. That's 8 o'clock at ACC Network at Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, so you have Wake going on the road in state, getting a win against NC State.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's a good pick. That's a niche pick.
I understand that NC State could very easily win this game, but I don't care.
I get that. And I respect you going out.
Honorary win for Jamie Newman.
Okay. All right, my 2-point conversion pick is not one that you would think I would make, because I think you are.
Or it's not the very obvious one that
you are expecting me to take FAU over Georgia Southern, a game that kicks off on 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. That's right, you heard me. The big ESPN prime time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Watch that game. That will really be my secondary screen. 3:30 game. I want you to know that right now.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
But I'm not taking that game because that would be too easy, Tyler. This Georgia Southern team almost lost to Campbell last week, so not the best competition. I have FAU winning that game comfortably. The game I will take, though, is I'm going to give a team a secondary opportunity going up against a team that I believe to be a very sneaky player, especially since they are ranked this week. Tyler, I am a fan of the chaos, which means I am taking the Pitt Panthers to beat the Syracuse Orange at 12 o'clock on the ACC network. Now, I know you're saying, but Sergio, Dino Babers kind of lost it. The Syracuse team isn't very good. To which I say, but have you met Pitt? Have you met Pitt, Tyler? I have a feeling this Pitt team is going to start off the season 4 or 5-0. Like it's going to be some fun stuff. I agree with you. It's going to be some fun stuff. You know, they start the season like 4 or 5 straight home games.
We discussed that.
And all against all against middle to lower tier ACC teams.
I mean, don't ever underestimate Pitt's ability to screw things up for other people.
Pitt's ability to pit.
Pitt's regardless. The Pitt's pitting knows no bounds.
Yes,
it does not discriminate
at all.
It'll do it to itself.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I'm a fan of this because I think Pitt has been slowly getting better the last couple of years, and this is the type of year with the way that they like to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they could really start, the physicality could really overtake some teams that aren't ready for it.
Also, elite uniforms.
I love the
uniform combination.
I gotta agree because it's so great that their uniforms that they wear now were an alternate they wore one time like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And every person who ever saw it was like, "Oh, that's way better. Just do that."
It was a consent. Even West Virginia fans who hate Pitt were like, "Yeah, Pitt, you should wear those."
Yeah, they're so much better. Elite uniforms.
Oh my gosh! All right, so your 2 point is Wake Forest over North Carolina State, and mine is Pitt over Syracuse. An all ACC affair this week, Tyler. All ACC.
Not for long.
Not for long, because next week, Tyler. Oh, next week. Yes.
That wasn't very good, but
man,
you get the point.
It was good. It was enough to invoke the emotions.
Yes.
Tyler, let's finish the episode with tweets that we have shared. Tyler, what's your favorite tweet that I shared with you this week?
We discussed a lot, but moving a little bit to the professional side of things, just a little bit. There was a certain game up in Ohio this past weekend. I saw the debut of Joe Burrow, who actually played relatively well for it being his first game, and included what would have been a game tying, I believe, drive in the fourth quarter, at the end of the fourth quarter, to kick a field goal to tie the game with the Chargers. However, despite being only like 30 yards away, his kicker shanked the field goal. Mm-hmm. You sent me a tweet from Worldwide Wob. Said, if I shank a game-winning field goal that bad, you better believe I'm falling to the ground and grabbing my leg like it just tore it in half. I think my arm might be broken too. Bring the stretcher. Because this man cramped up halfway through the kick. But there's no reason it should have missed by that much.
Okay, so... I'm going to say it.
Do it.
Do we believe him?
No! No.
Is this some stuff we should have seen at the SOTD?
Yeah, no, because it's not even good. It wasn't even good acting.
It wasn't even good.
The best part is I saw somebody in the comments of this tweet be like, it's a mindset thing. Okay, did the same stuff once during a rec league hoops game. Got fouled hard with a few seconds left. Had to make both free throws to tie, so I slowly got up and limped to the free throw line, holding my leg. Just in case I missed the throws, I would have an excuse. Underrated mental strategy.
Completely underrated.
This man gave no warning. He's just like, oh god, oh my god.
You know what it reminded me of?
The other Bengals players just turn around like, what was that?
You know what it reminded me of? In SpongeBob, when the guy goes, my leg. That's what it reminded me of. It has no business being there, but it just did. So.
What a great NFL Week 1. That was one of the things that happened.
Fantastic, Tyler. Fantastic.
This is very funny to me.
All right, so my tweet that you shared with me, it's from College Football Saturday. And
oh yeah,
listen, we have our gripes against Notre Dame. But this is fantastic work by the Notre Dame Jumbotron team. This is by Lane Higgins, who she is a college sports reporter for the Wall Street Journal. And it's just a picture at Notre Dame Stadium on the big Jumbotron. And in the third quarter, their tweet says, and by the third quarter, we've resorted to public shaming. And it says the physical distance cam. And they put up this like ruler for 6 feet. And then they just show people not adhering by the social distancing. And I never thought that we would get to a point in society where we would be turning precautions to prevent the future spread of a disease during a global pandemic into like Jumbotron comedy between timeouts.
Never.
I never thought that would happen.
Hey, there ain't nothing more Catholic than public shaming. I don't know.
Nothing more Catholic. The guilt on these girls' faces.
On brand.
On brand. So I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
I forgot about this.
It was so good, Tyler. I think by that point we were like getting ready for dinner. And I showed it to Alexa, and she was like, "Oh, that's really funny." I was like, "Yes, this is hysterical."
Yeah, you're damn right, that's funny.
Oh my gosh,
God, that's so good.
Excellent, excellent.
I will say though, quick sidebar, not Notre Dame related. Quick shout out. You know how you said last week that tanking works?
It does.
Well, I have no doubt about that.
Yes.
Gardner Minshew heard that and said it became personal to me. The Jaguars inexplicably have won a game in the NFL and have a winning record right now. So,
they
sorry,
did.
I just need to point that out.
If you're gonna bring that,
up, it's a college football podcast, but
if you're gonna bring that up, then I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the atrocity that was the lack of a defensive pass interference call on Mike Gesicki at the end of the Dolphins-Patriots game. Now, you would think, oh, Sergio, are you mad because with that touchdown the Dolphins would have won? Absolutely not. I had a plus 7.5 bet. We were gonna backdoor cover. I was gonna make my money. Allegedly, I was gonna make my money, and then they just blow the call. But Sergio, you still would have been down when lost that. Yeah. But if we don't get it, we end up kicking the field goal, and I still cover. So allegedly, these referees cost me some money. So shame on you, NFL refs, for blowing the call. That's all I had to say. Also, the Dolphins' offensive line looked much better than last year. Still not great, but an improvement. Every single offensive lineman played 100% of the snaps. That's an improvement. So we're getting there. We're making progress.
Hey, and on my side, the Jaguars won a game, and it was against Phillip Rivers. So this is a magical season. Last time the only other time we've beaten Phillip Rivers was, yeah, you guessed it, that one other good season we had.
So signs are pointing up. So, Super Bowl, yeah. Gardner Minshew, NFL MVP.
Super Bowl, led by our rookies and Gardner Minshew.
Oh man,
this is gonna bite me in the butt in like 3 days.
Tyler, that's it for this episode. We'll be back next week. We're gonna review week 3, these 5 wides, and Tyler, it just means it just means more. You know. The SEC, the SEC is back. The SEC is back.
The SEC is back.
There are more games. We're having a more.
Never thought we'd get to this day.
I know. We're gonna have a fuller schedule.
By the way, did you see that Ole Miss is wearing the powder blues against Florida?
Are they? Does that mean? So then, what are we?
We're probably gonna have to go orange, white, orange.
We're gonna wear orange to start.
We're gonna have to. They're wearing the powder blues.
Don't like the orange uniforms.
But Lane Kiffin is trolling us out the gate.
Can't we wear all white?
I mean, we could. That's the only other alternative.
I'd rather wear all white. Yeah, because
I would too. Our all whites are awesome. But anyway. But we just had a schedule. We're just talking about the uniforms for a game, for an SEC game.
This is huge. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. We're gonna have tons of games to talk about. It'll be fun. We'll be able to talk about our Gators, and yeah. So we'll be back next week with that. Tyler, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Nothing much. We are going to be, again, moving to 2 episodes a week.
Yes, we apologize.
We meant to do it this week. We're unable. Sergio was very swamped with life and school,
yes.
And I am living under a hurricane currently.
Correct,
so,
yeah. Also, best wishes out to OG friend of the pod, Courtney Mims, your neighbor. She tweeted out a picture of her roof, and it does not look very well. Hope that cleanup and recovery goes I texted you right away because I know you guys live on like our neighbors, and I was like, "Are you good?"
I I had already left my apartment to go to work.
Don't even say that. No, this man Tyler said, "Oh, I don't know. I slept through it." That's his answer to me. He was like, "I woke up and I didn't feel anything, so I thought it was fine."
No, well, yeah. So like,
there's nothing more Floridian than saying, "Oh, I don't know. I just slept through that hurricane."
She didn't tweet it until I was already at work, and I immediately was just like, "Did I just not see it when I woke up this morning? Was I that tired?" And I was like, I texted my roommate after you started texting. I'm like, "Risen, wake up!" Has the roof caved in? He's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay."
Nothing more.
She's okay.
Nothing more
safe.
Florida than sleeping through a hurricane.
No, yeah. Everyone's safe.
Good,
no one got hurt.
Excellent.
So
we love to hear it.
Okay.
Love to hear it. All right, Tyler. This has been another episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And we are not biased, but go Gators.
Go Gators.